There is a new missing planet in Star Wars.
Lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing.
And this might just be the key to Grand Admiral Thrawn's plan to becoming the heir to the Empire.
This is where the fun begins.
No, this missing planet is not Kamino, and it's not At-Aten either. However, At-Aten will be very important to Grand Admiral Thrawn's plan, but we're talking about the planet of Myrkr. Okay, if you've never heard that name before, that's okay. I will explain everything about the planet Myrkr and why it's probably the most important thing going into the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and Ahsoka Season 2 and beyond. And if you do know what Myrkr is, well, let me just tell you that it's missing. About a week and a half ago, StarWars.com posted this on their website. An interactive map of the Star Wars galaxy. It had Star Wars fans running wild, as this map is now canon to Star Wars and it revealed crazy planets like Rakata Prime. This map also allowed us to see how close certain planets are, which we'll get into in a second, and how far away some planets are. For example, in The Phantom Menace, when Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi escape Naboo but get stranded on Tatooine, this is how far they actually traveled. But the most insane thing that has to do with this map so far is something that hasn't been found: a missing planet. And as I mentioned before, that planet is Myrkr. And this map on StarWars.com is not the first map we've ever seen of the Star Wars galaxy, and on the older versions of the map, this planet is there. And actually, the location of Myrkr on these older maps makes things even crazier. Okay, let's talk about it. Why is Myrkr so important? Specifically, why is it so important to Grand Admiral Thrawn, the big blue meanie? Well, in the Heir to the Empire Legends book trilogy that follows Grand Admiral Thrawn as he becomes the heir to the Empire, the planet of Myrkr is home to the species of the Ysalamari. These pretty normal-looking lizards actually have an insane ability, and that is to repel the Force. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is a huge threat to the galaxy, not because he's a Sith Lord or wields a lightsaber or can use the Force, it's because of his mind. And he understands that his mind, going up against a Force-wielding, lightsaber-wielding Jedi, it's not going to get him too far. So he needs to even the playing field. And by getting these lizards from the homeworld of Myrkr, he is able to take away the Force abilities of Jedi. So in the Legends trilogy, these beings are very important and stop Thrawn from being killed in 2 seconds countless times. So yeah, the Ysalamari are very important, and they just so happen to reside from the planet of Myrkr, which just so happens to be missing from this Star Wars galaxy map. Are you with me so far? Right now, in canon with the Mandoverse, we are seeing that same exact trilogy from Legends being brought into canon. Now, this will be a very different version of the same story, because if you just told the same exact story over again, then what's the point? And you have so many characters in canon now, like Din Djarin, like Grogu, like the Ghost Crew, like Bo-Katan, like Boba Fett, like Ahsoka Tano, that aren't involved, because they didn't exist, in the Legends trilogy. So needless to say, this canon version of the Heir to the Empire is going to be slightly different than the Legends version. Yes, Thrawn, the big blue meanie, is still the heir to the Empire, but a lot of other aspects of the story have changed. However, some have remained the same, and I'm about 99.999% sure that the Ysalamari and the planet of Myrkr will be one of those things that transfers over from Legends to canon, and here's why. The location of Myrkr on these older maps is right next to Wayland, and if you go to StarWars.com and find Wayland on the map, it's right here. And yes, there is no Myrkr there, but it's supposed to be right here. Now, you might be thinking that they're just not adding Myrkr because it's not in canon. However, there is a key to this galaxy, which allows you to look up the coordinates for each planet. And for some reason, on this key, Myrkr exists at N7. And when you go to N7, it's not there. But if you zoom out just a little bit, you can see that Dathomir is right there. And that's significant because the last time we saw Thrawn at the end of Ahsoka Season 1, he had just arrived on Dathomir. Now, the planet of Wayland is yet another planet that is coming over from Legends to canon, but it's been in canon for a little bit now. In the animated show titled The Bad Batch, Wayland, or what most Star Wars fans will recognize Mount Tantus is established as a cloning facility for Palpatine for his Project Necromancer, the project that allows him to transfer his essence into a new cloned body. So yeah, Mount Tantus, Wayland have both already been established in 3 seasons of The Bad Batch, and that perfectly sets up Grand Admiral Thrawn, because he's right next door on Dathomir, to come over and take this planet. And while he's at it, take the missing planet of Myrkr with it. He needs the Ysalamari. He needs these little cute lizards to stop the Force users that he is up against. Because in Legends, he's going up against Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, 2 Force users. And there is no way he's going toe-to-toe with Luke Skywalker and winning if Luke can wield the Force. And now for this canon version of Heir to the Empire, you're still going to have Luke Skywalker involved in some capacity. They deepfaked him for the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian Season 2, so don't just think because we have all these new characters that Luke, Leia, and Han won't be involved in this new Heir to the Empire. They might not be the main characters anymore, but they'll definitely still be involved. But in canon, we do have other new Force users that Thrawn's going to go toe-to-toe with. Currently, right now, Ahsoka and Sabine are both in a different galaxy, but you still have characters like Ezra Bridger, hopefully like Cal Kestis, and others that Thrawn is going to have to stop their Force abilities. And the Ysalamari are very important. So yeah, this missing planet on the Star Wars galaxy map might be the key to Grand Admiral Thrawn being able to stop Force users and take over the galaxy as the heir to the Empire. But it's not the only missing planet that's very significant to Thrawn's mission. Now, this second missing planet I'm talking about is actually on the Star Wars map, because it was just recently found this year in 2025. Yeah, that's right, the planet of At-Aten. Skeleton Crew might be one of the best live-action Star Wars shows that nobody watched. I mean, people watched it, but not a lot of people watched it. And it established a few very important things to Grand Admiral Thrawn, the biggest one being the planet of At-Aten. And now this new Star Wars galaxy map reveals to us that At-Aten is right next to Dathomir. Now you might be sitting there going, Mike, why the hell would that be significant? Why does Thrawn need a planet like At-Aten? I'm glad you asked. Well, it was revealed in Skeleton Crew that At-Aten is home to the final Old Republic mint, the ability to print credits whenever you want. So Thrawn has an army of Night Sisters. He might be going to Wayland to clone some stuff, and he could even be going to Myrkr to get the Ysalamari to stop Force users. But all that's fine and dandy, but he's still going to lose unless he has an army. And the only way he's able to create an army, create ships, is with money. And Skeleton Crew, seemingly the most unconnected Star Wars Mandoverse project, could be the funding that Thrawn needs to fund his war. So this little corner of the galaxy seems to be Grand Admiral Thrawn's home base, expanding from Dathomir to At-Aten so he can fund his war, expanding all the way to Wayland into the hidden missing planet of Myrkr. Now there is one other planet in this little area that Thrawn could be taking over, and that is Mandalore. We just saw Mandalore in The Mandalorian Season 3 get reclaimed by the Mandalorian people. Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, Darksaber in hand, reclaiming their homeworld from Moff Gideon and the Empire. This is after years of Imperial rule and their planet being turned to glass. So although it is in Thrawn's area here, I think it'd be pretty heartbreaking if the Mandalorians already lose their home planet yet again. They've been through enough. Let's let them have their moment of peace. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for Mandalore. This could be where the final stand against Grand Admiral Thrawn happens, and that would allow us to see Mandalore be a battleground and get to see the Mythosaur come out and maybe even win the battle. There is no way that Bo-Katan and the others aren't going down without a fight. But all of this sounds insanely awesome. From a missing planet that was just found with At-Aten to another missing planet that's not even on this Star Wars galaxy map that's right next door to Wayland and Mount Tantus. Lucasfilm is clearly setting up something crazy with Grand Admiral Thrawn as the heir to the Empire in the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Ahsoka Season 2, and beyond. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think Myrkr not being there is on purpose or just a mistake? And do you think that the Ysalamari on the planet of Myrkr will be used to stop Force users? And speaking of Ahsoka Season 2, this is not the only second season that just got a huge bit of news, as Kenobi Season 2 is reportedly in development at Lucasfilm. But I break down all that news in this video right here.